Alright, so we got which faction is currently winning in Warhammer 40k. Let's go.
G'day guys and gal. One thing Warhammer does pretty well is make sure everyone stays in the fight and has their share of L's and dubs, other than the Eldar apparently. Space elves literally can't catch a break.
I'm about to say, man, bro, I heard they was taking L to L to L like Deji.
Sometimes the Imperium's dominating, like during the Great Crusade. Sometimes Chaos seems like they're on top, like when the Great Rift opened. Sometimes the Orcs are scary, like during the War of the Beast. However, who is currently winning the setting of 40k the most? Who would have the best odds if GW announced the end times are about to kick off? It's an interesting and quite complicated question, but there is indeed an answer. Before we get started, as spring arrives for most of you, it's time to shed our winter coats.
Did y'all hear that? That motor sounds crazy work.
Who's actually winning? Let's get into it. Starting us off large and in charge, how is the Imperium of Man going? Well, out of all the factions, the Imperium is by far the biggest yo-yo. Prior to the opening of the Great Rift, they were definitely winning. Each tyrannic war had ended in Imperial victory, the Imperium won all the wars for Armageddon, the Eldar didn't want to touch them, and Chaos had been mostly confined to the Eye of Terror, ending in Imperial victory. But then, the Fire Nation, then the Abaddon attacked, destroying Cadia, ruining the Necron pylon network, and causing the Great Rift to open. The opening of the Great Rift fucking sucked more dick than your mum. It knocked the Emperor out, temporarily winking out the Astronomicon, which in turn allowed a huge Khornite host to materialize on Terra and almost kill the Emperor. It caused millions of ships mid-warp travel to become lost or destroyed. It consumed hundreds of Imperial worlds and turned them into demon worlds, with thousands more getting sieged by demonic hordes. It also cut the Imperium in half. Overall, a terrible time. A total defeat was only prevented by the desperate resurrection of Guilliman, who sprinted to Terra in time to save it.
I'm gonna keep it real, bro. The resurrection of him, bro, man, I won't even hate. I'm not a hater. Y'all know I wasn't born to be a hater. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real. The resurrection of him, the resurrection of him was clutch. The resurrection of G-Thug was insanely clutch, bro. I'm gonna keep it completely real, bro.
Before then creating the Indomitus Crusade, which stabilized a lot of the Imperium, driving back Chaos from a near victory and forcing Abaddon to take a step back and come up with new strategies. The Indomitus Crusade would secure Imperium Sanctus, the side of the Imperium where the Emperor's light still reached, whilst Imperium Nihilus would start to come under somewhat control as Dante and his Blood Angels fought to hold it together. So overall, the Imperium is slowly rallying as it reconciles its might and adjusts to the new shithole state of the galaxy. Guilliman would go on to win the Plague Wars, benching the Death Guard hard, and is now turning his attention on taking on the Silent King and the Tyranids. In the meantime, the Lion has also returned, a massive dub for the Imperium, as he battles on Imperium Nihilus, destroying Chaos warbands, Tyranid forces, and everything else that needs slaying, to be honest. So whilst I wouldn't say the Imperium is cruising, they're significantly more stabilized and now have 2 return loyalist Primarchs.
I mean, well, let's keep it real. Like, it's way more stable because of G-Thug. Like, not because of bro right here, but alright.
Also, there is the Emperor waking up, which is cool, but until we see that develop, it's hard to know how much of an advantage that will give the Imperium. Now let's look at Chaos. For the longest time, the Ruinous powers were on the back foot. Whilst they theoretically had an endless tide of demons and technically have near limitless power.
Hey, look at this damn rodent. Look at this rodent right here. Oh my goodness, great. Look at Slaanesh. Yo, Slaanesh, put your tongue back in your mouth, yo. Look at this damn rodent.
Due to the warp, they need their mortal followers to establish footholds that they can.
Okay, so I didn't even know. I thought there were actually 4, like, Chaos Gods, whatever. Turns out there's actually 5 of them, y'all. Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, Khorne, and then we got, I think his name was like Malice or something. Malice or something like that. Basically, yeah. Yo, this rat dude right here, bro. This nasty rodent critter. This nasty thing from New York. Yo, we gotta learn more about him.
Exploit. For example, during the Heresy, when Chaos was powerful as fuck, they were able to create fortresses and structures the size of star systems using their infinite warp power, because they had so much influence on real space. However, now demons can barely manifest outside the Eye of Terror without their balls cramping. I mean, that was until the opening of the Great Rift. That blow to the Imperium is so mighty that the traitor legions have begun refocusing on the Long War, seeing it as winnable for the first time in thousands of years, whilst demons can now manifest freely in most of the galaxy. Due to the state of the galaxy, Khorne has become ascendant, with Angron currently being the most powerful demon Primarch, mostly due to his ability to reform after banishment extremely.
God, bro. He's more of a crash out?
quickly. Demon Primarchs are re-entering the setting left, right and center, with Magnus, Angron and recently Fulgrim all in on the action and causing havoc. It hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows though for the forces of hell. Mortarion is currently in the naughty corner for failing Nurgle. As stated, the line has returned, and Guilliman stopped Chaos's momentum dead in its tracks after the opening of the Great Rift. However, Chaos has not been this strong since the Heresy, and there doesn't really seem to be any good way to beat them right now. Killing Abaddon would be a great blow, but another would rise to take his place. The Demon Primarchs cannot be killed, only banished, and there's still at least 2 Demon Primarchs yet to re-enter the setting.
Bro, a Demon Primarch sounds absolutely, nasty, bro. A Demon Primarch? What the hell are we doing? A Demon Primarch. Lord have mercy.
Abaddon is also currently working with Vashtor to find a super weapon that could give Chaos the edge it needs to beat the Imperium, and he is actually getting close. So overall, Chaos is in a very strong position, but is that enough to put him in the lead? I'll go with the Eldar next, as it is a bit of a meme. The Eldar's Ynnari plotline made it seem like they had a genuine chance to unnerf themselves, free themselves from Slaanesh's influence, and rise up to become a new powerhouse threat in the galaxy.
Is you up right now? Is you up right now? Is you up? No, who is this? Who is this? I understand, she got the Steve Harvey, but listen, and we can make it work.
Instead, we got to see them be Guilliman's sidekicks, get their ass whooped by a shard of some random new Slaaneshi demon, before their plotline abruptly ends with a, yeah, so you can't really progress any further. Now GW seems to be moving away from the Ynnari entirely, with even Eldrad abandoning their cause. The major craft worlds are getting smacked one by one, with Ulthwé currently being attacked by a united Night Lord Legion, Baal Tan was shattered, Iyanden is mostly a Wraith craft world, and I bet the others have some unlubricated cock heading straight for their assholes as well.
Yo, come on, Majorkill. Yo, Majorkill, I'm gonna keep it real. That was the most vile thing you ever said in your life. He got some unlubed what for his woo? Man, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? He got some lubed up what for his what? For his whatnot? What the? Yo. Man, what in the Cinnamon Toast Crunch is, what's going on, bro? Come on, bro. This is ridiculous.
Like their awesome model range refresh recently, the Eldar's lore is as stale as an 80-year-old hooker's gash, so this is one of the few factions I can comfortably say is not currently winning the setting of 40k. Maybe there will be some lore developments, since it appears that Fulgrim is wielding the final Crone Sword, so if the Eldar can take that off him, then maybe they can awaken Yned and do something cool with that plotline, but I wouldn't hold my breath. As for the Exodites, winning isn't in their vocabulary, and the Dark Eldar are barely holding their own domain together, let alone worrying about any sort of conquest. I don't know about the Harlequins, those guys are hard to track. Another faction that isn't winning but maybe one day could is the Tau. The Tau are the only faction in 40k that are not stagnant or decaying. They're constantly expanding their territories via sphere expansions and are constantly...
We learned a lot about the Tau, bro. They're very underrated, bro. Very underrated. Do not count these guys out. Even though, man, he looked crazy right, bro. Man, even though he cannot smell what the rock is cooking, bro, these guys, bro, are very, very, very underrated, bro. No lie.
Upgrading their technology. In a few centuries or millennia, this could result in them becoming the most powerful faction, but they have to last that long. Recently, their 4th and 5th sphere expansions came crashing down when they fought a small fraction of the Death Guard Legion.
Ew.
Although the Tau won at great cost, let's put that into perspective. A sphere expansion is the greatest focus and concentration of Tau military assets at any given time. They had 2 sphere expansions worth of forces that went up against a small portion of the Death Guard, who themselves are a small portion of all traitor legions, who themselves are a small portion of the total might of chaos. So yeah, the Tau aren't winning anything big anytime soon. They just need to hold on until their tech is so advanced it makes the Necrons look like Neanderthals. Speaking of which, how are the Necrons tracking? A lot of people are confused by the Necrons. They have the most advanced tech.
Bro, I'm about to say, I think these guys are like the head honcho, bro. No lie. I think these guys, y'all, I think they can definitely take over if they really want to, bro. I think they can have their way, bro. Pause. But I think they can actually have their way. These dudes, bro, their technology and everything is just out of everybody's league, bro. You are out of my league. You were just a guy. Yeah, you were more than just a dream. Like, bro, out of our league, bro. Out of our league, bro. They're number 1, bro. No lie.
Most of which they used and have kept since the War in Heaven, a time where gods fought in real space, a war that the Necrons technically won, yet they barely seem to be impacting the setting. Many people say, oh, that's just because they're sleeping. When they wake up, it's game over. Sorry to break it to you, but most of the Necrons have already woken up. At least the Necrons that matter. It's just that with their newfound freedom...
He said that's because they're sleeping. When they wake up, it's game over.
By the Silent King, most of them just want to keep random retards off their lawn or infight with rival Necron dynasties. Only Imhotep the Stormlord and the Silent King have any true ambition for total victory, and those two powerhouses are fighting each other as well. To the Silent King's credit, he's trying to create and expand the Pariah Nexus, a region of space where the warp is dead. His goal is to expand the Pariah Nexus to encompass the galaxy, meaning no more chaos, no more Eldar, no more Tyranids, as the hive mind is a psychic connection. Even the humans would eventually die out, as humans within the Nexus experience their souls being smothered, and it really bums them out. Basically, it would be a warpless galaxy, free of Psykers, warp travel, and even souls. Only the Tau wouldn't mind it. However, with all the Necron infighting and the Imperium throwing up stiff resistance, including Guilliman coming in person, the Pariah Nexus is mostly contained for now. But it's cool to see the Necrons actually have a plan that they are actioning that could result in a total victory. A bit of a wild card now. What about the Tyranids? Well, the Tyranids are either the greatest or second weakest threat to the galaxy right now, behind the Eldar obviously, depending on how many more Nids are waiting to invade the Milky Way. You've probably all seen an image like this at some point. However, these are actually non-canon images. Everything in the Milky Way now could represent the entire Tyranid's strength, or it could represent less than 1% of their strength. We just don't know. The Tyranids are mighty, consuming many worlds, and even if they fail in their invasion of—
Man, these critters, they eat everything. They eat every goddamn thing, bro. It's crazy, bro.
the world is usually left permanently damaged. Even when a main hive fleet is beaten, it only takes a splinter of it surviving, eating weak worlds, and then it can return in full strength within a few decades. The Tyranids have also been adapting to the galaxy's defenders, creating new warrior forms using the DNA of newly consumed enemies to counter them. However, the galaxy is also adapting to the Tyranids. Many strategies have been tried and tested and shown to be hyper effective against the Nids. The Imperium has also figured out how to revive and terraform planets that were consumed by the Nids, meaning all their damage is potentially undoable. When the Great Rift opened, the hive mind was also kicked in the balls, similar to how the—
I hope so. Man, yo, we gotta stump the hive mind out. Do whatever we can. Yo, if you gotta launch arrows like the movie 300, bro, if you gotta launch arrows, if you gotta do whatever you can, yo, do whatever you can to the hive mind. We gotta get rid of that thing, bro. Bro, drop all types of Moabs and everything, bro. Yo, just let loose.
Was and got knocked out, so that may hint towards the main Tyranid strength.
And I know I sound like a school threat. I know I sound like a school sniper whenever I say stuff like that. Like I just gotta keep it real, bro. The hive mind, bro. That's what generates like the BS. Like that's what generates just the number one most just toxic like enemy that eats everything. We gotta get rid of it, bro.
It's already been in the Milky Way. As if the majority of the hive mind was still outside the galaxy, then a galactic event shouldn't have been enough to affect it like that. Right now, I would say the Tyranids are a massive threat, causing everyone a huge headache. But does that mean they're actually winning? Hard to say. Time to get orky. The orcs have always been around and have always been
I mean, I should skip this, man. This distasteful, man. Bro, I should skip this, yo. I don't even like the— Look at his name. Oh, bro, my face cam's in the way.
good time. Some people may argue that the orcs are winning no matter what, since their idea of victory is a state of constant battle. However, we aren't orcs, and my definition of winning in this context is who has the best chance to achieve total domination of the galaxy. Orcs were always lined up to be the punching bag of the other factions.
As they should.
The Imperium fucked them up during the Great Crusade, the Tau have been fucking them up on numerous occasions recently, as have even the Eldar. However, with the rise of Ghazghkull, things are turning around. After the end of the Third War for Armageddon, Ghazghkull has rallied the biggest war the galaxy has ever seen, featuring countless billions and billions of orcs on millions of orc ships. Where this green tidal wave will crash, I am not sure, but it'll be epic as hell. However, the orcs also did recently lose the Octarius War, an all-out system-spanning war between the Tyranids and the orcs.
I knew the Tyranids about to go crazy. Man, the Tyranids dropped 80... Bro, they dropped, what, 81 on their neck like Kobe Bryant? What are we talking about? Of course they lost. They're not beating the Tyranids, duh.
The Tyranids finally winning and coming out of the conflict turbocharged.
Man, he got the underbite of doom.
Due to all the biomass and experience they gained. Perhaps actually killing Yarick, or maybe he'll bring it crashing down on top of one of the newly returned loyalist Primarchs. It's hard to say, but the orcs currently do have a big fist that they're ready to annihilate someone with. As for the leagues of Votann, yeah, sure, you can giggle and be like, okay, Majorkill, yeah, the midgets are winning. And that is a fair take. However, we need to remember that one of the Imperium's victory conditions is rediscovering an intact STC, which would return their tech to Dark Age of Technology levels, which is when—
The who? The who? Yo, hey, I'm gonna keep it real, bro. I don't want to make no like short jokes or nothing, yo, but we seeing over these dudes. Yo, I'm gonna keep it real, bro. Yo, who? We don't even know what's their
They're
name.
unstoppable. The leagues have intact STCs. Sure, they have their own issues, but the leagues have insane technology. They just aren't conquerors and want to be mostly left alone.
Man, yo, their technology goes up, what, to the PS3, and that's it. They got PS3 technology. It's over with, bro. Bro, yo, the highest phone they got is the iPhone 5. What do you mean their technology is good? No, nah. Yo, nobody's worried about these, bro.
Okay, so judging by all of this, who is actually winning the setting of 40k? Well, it's definitely not the Tau, Eldar, or Leagues, I'll tell you that much. I also wouldn't say the Orcs are, as although they have a lot of potential right now, they haven't done anything with it. The Tyranids are a major threat to everything, but are also mostly kept in check due to everyone fighting them at the same time and hating them. Likewise, the Necrons have a plan and are executing it, but they are also way too infighty and are being hit hard by the Imperium for that plan to be considered winning yet. The Imperium has returned to a strong position with a Lion and G-Men in action, but they're still just trying to survive, taking on the brunt of the Necrons, Chaos, Tyranids, and even the Tau all by themselves. They have no current clear path to victory, even if you can call them the strongest. So I would honestly say right now that Chaos is winning. They can attack from almost anywhere from the Great Rift, most of their Primarchs have returned or are returning, there are demons everywhere, Abaddon is close to unlocking his super weapon, Vashtor is close to becoming a new Chaos God, and they have a near endless tide of resources and soldiers due to the warp. It's impressive how Chaos can go from one of the least threatening to the most threatening factions just because they managed to blow up Cadia. It's kind of like opening up a dam. If you enjoy the
shout out to Majorkill, man, for this one. Comment down below which faction, actually no, what's your favorite faction from Warhammer? Wow, from Warhammer 40k. I'm over here mispronouncing words, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Obviously, if Vulcan and the Salamans were here, bro, you already know I'm like, yo, Vulcan #1, but you know, obviously, you know, it has nothing to do with this, so you know, I gotta be. Y'all when they call me glazier and stuff like that, you know, it's fine. You know, I'll take the glaziness, you know, comments or whatever. A lot of people say that I glaze Vulcan, which isn't true, but it is what it is. I'll see y'all later for next one out. I really don't. I don't glaze Vulcan. Hey, one of y'all make a compilation of me glazing Vulcan, I'll react to it because I'll decipher if I'm glazing or not. Bye, everyone.